Moving away from the crisis in Niger, stakeholders in Nigeria are calling for total overhaul of the nation's judicial system over allegations of corruption. They say the judiciary is a symbol of hope to the common Nigerian and must free itself from any influence capable of bringing its image and the image of the country into disrepute. News Central's marvelous Obomanu completes this report.
The judiciary is one of Nigeria's most respected and revered arm of government. The judiciary, an impartial arbiter of dispute, instills hope and confidence to those seeking justice or redress from a wrong. In recent times, this revered arm of government has come under strong criticism by some Nigerians, accusing it of being corrupt and dispensing justice to the highest bidder.
Corruption has eaten deeply into the fabrics of Nigeria in every facet, that nothing seems to be working. The politicians rig elections and nothing happens. The worst is now coming from the judiciary. We want everybody to have a change. Let this Nigeria move forward. You cannot be disclaimed or rigged out or anything, and you go to the judiciary, you get a good ruling. It is cash and carry, and that has to put a stop.
The judiciary is also being accused of not helping in the war against corruption, a situation that has brought much public criticism. However, one member of Nigeria's parliament has assured the sections affecting the performance of the judiciary will be amended to ensure the judiciary is empowered to effectively tackle corruption in the country and ensure it is more effective.
Wherever the laws need to be amended, we are there as parliament to amend the laws. But let that also be the will. If they catch your friend stealing, allow him to go to jail. Don't intervene, don't interfere, don't block the way. Let there be consequence for corruption.
The lawmaker expressed confidence in the current administration's ability to fight corruption and called on Nigerians to trust the government.
They've taken some good steps, and I hope they continue on that line and free this country from what is holding us like in the stranglehold. Right. He has removed fuel subsidy, which is a bastion of corruption in Nigeria. They have merged the exchange rate with CBN from official to the parallel market. They have merged it. That's another cesspool of corruption. They need to take other measures. The pains are coming. Nigerians need to trust the man on the driving wheel.
Many Nigerians will be hoping that the judiciary, which is supposed to be the lifeblood of any democracy, will be alive to their responsibilities. Marvelous Obomanu reporting for News Central.
Now, joining me live at NC Continental Prime tonight to discuss this development is Public Affairs Commentator Vinmartin Obiora Ilo. A warm welcome to you, Vinmartin, and thanks for joining us at NC Continental Prime. Now, Vinmartin, could you kindly unmute your device? Thank you. Now, Vinmartin, the judiciary, the police, the customs and other agencies are always under public scrutiny. They're Nigerians and they have somewhat become a reflection of what the country has become. Do you subscribe to this assessment, and what will be your recommendation on how to purge the system of this virus called corruption? Vinmartin, could you kindly unmute your device, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
My apologies. Well, Nigeria is ranked 150 out of 180 countries by Transparency International, and that was in 2022. In Nigeria, corruption has become an existential and a big development challenge for all of us in Nigeria. And whether we believe it or not, it behoves on the judiciary to ensure that there is rule of law in Nigeria. Of course, the judiciary can be divorced from the rest of Nigeria. They are part of Nigeria where corruption is endemic. But I believe that if the judicial officers, our judicial officers, from the magistrates to those at the Supreme Court, I believe that if they are alive to their duties, if they still believe in the oaths they took when they became judicial officers, that they are going to be the last hope of the common man. There is no doubt that Nigeria can get above corruption. Corruption is everywhere, and there is a need for us to start not just with adults. It is time we start engaging the younger ones, for them as little children to even realize that corruption is a big danger to the future of our country. It's also important that we reach out not just to people in the urban areas, that we go to the local areas, the grassroots, and start educating Nigerians about the dangers of corruption. So when they talk about corruption, corruption is hardly, carried out or engaged in by one person. It takes two or more to tango. So when we accuse...
It takes two or more, like you said, Vinmartin, but permit me to come in here. We often seen the phrase recently that if you're not happy with something, just go to court. The judiciary is the last hope of the common man. And they also say, interests attempt to determine what justice will be in every circumstance, particularly in politics, where whoever is favored because of a verdict celebrates justice, while those on the other side claim that justice has been murdered. Now, Vinmartin, in your opinion, what will justice mean as the judgment of the presidential election tribunal has been awaited?
Justice should be justice, and it should be seen as justice. If we look at the symbol of justice, what does it talk about? It's about the scale.
Yeah.
I mean, there must be fairness. There must be objectivity. There must be, when you look at that symbol, it shows a scale and it shows a sword, which means that the judiciary has the power to cut through, call it corruption, call it compromise by politicians, call it taking advantage of judicial. They should be able to cut through, because in a society like ours, they have to be that voice that will say the truth. Because when that is not done, then people would start looking for self-help. So
absolutely.
in this justice that every Nigerian is looking forward to, the judiciary must be seen to be doing the right thing. Note at this time, whether somebody is already sitting in that position as president and another is contesting it from a position of not being president, we must see our judiciary looking at all the things that are brought before it, looking at it without bias, looking at it without influence, looking at it without compromises. Because if Nigerians and the world see our judiciary making sure that at the end of this court process, that whoever gets justice is not just seeing it as justice, but is satisfied that the judiciary has done what it needs to do.
And on that final note, yes, I would like to say thank you to you, Vinmartin Obiora, for your time and insights on this subject. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.